So we know a little bit about the company now. Let's talk about the Genian Next-Gen NAC product. Um, Really, what the typical deployment looks like with Genian NAC is really these four phases. Um, the first phase is one of the most important phases, which is to discover what's on your network. Often, I talk with customers and partners, and we talk about, what are your plans? What kind of policies do you want to establish? And sometimes the discussion's a little bit premature because that actually happens before they actually have a proper view of the landscape about what types of devices and users are connecting and where they're connecting on their network. So any real meaningful discussion about how you're going to um, create policies and make decisions on security policies has to start with visibility as the core component. Once you actually know what's on your network, who and what is on your network, you can begin to categorize those devices and users and with groups and common criteria that make sense for your particular business or organization. After all, you don't want to try to talk about setting up control policies unless you actually know what kinds of categories and groups and use cases that you actually have. So once you have your visibility and you've grouped together your devices and your users, then you can say, well, now we know what kind of policies do we want to apply to control access. And only then should you have that discussion. And that's where you can decide for these types of users or devices, we will provide this type of access, and you can assign permissions and etc. And then, of course, monitoring is very important. So once you set all this up, although we consider, our system something that is we prefer to have set it, forget it once you get it all customized. It is always a good idea to proactively monitor and to have it set up where you can automate as much of that as possible, so you're not having to constantly go in there and check on it, but still be aware if something unusual happens or there's a violation that you want to be notified of, and then maybe you have to tweak your security policies. So monitoring is often overlooked as being as important as some of these other phases, but it's very critical.